Hello, and welcome to the We Get to Do This podcast. My name is Kailee.
And I'm Jacob.
And we are your co-hosts.
In this show, we're going to dive into all things our lives, from our partnership to romance to entrepreneurship to growing our businesses together, our fitness journeys, and we're going to have a ton of different guests on that relate to what I just said in some way. We're hoping you enjoy the show, and if you do,
please feel free to follow us, leave us a 5-star review on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and enjoy.
And if you don't like the show, tough. Thank you.
Thanks. Welcome back to another episode of We Get to Do This.
We were going to talk about intentional July, but I think instead we're going to talk about how Kailee is feeling as though I'm not giving her enough attention lately. So let's open that up. Do you feel like I'm not giving you enough attention?
I'd like to poll the audience.
Am I working too much?
You work a lot.
All right, so I need to work less and give Bae more attention.
Yes, I should be your main full-time job. I'm glad we're on the same page.
All right, you heard it here first.
Jacob's clients, sorry, you're done.
Bae, you are definitely Bae is number one. First person I see when I wake up. First person I think about. Person I think about the most throughout the day. But
you're pretty lucky.
It reminds me though, because I was reading earlier in the week about how if you get asked what are your values and you write them out, and there's 3-4 things, whatever it is, right? For me, I might be like, my values are fitness, work, building work, family / relationships.
AKA Kailee.
AKA Kailee. Friendships. Yeah, you know what? Family, Kailee, everyone else. It's four values. And if you look at my calendar, it's definitely not balanced that way. So, real talk. Ask yourself those questions sometime and see which one needs your attention more. Because I see a lot of client names on here, but I don't see Kailee on here anywhere.
I know.
So I
agree.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I need to work on it. I agree with you. And we have all afternoon today, but we're going to spend some time tomorrow and Friday's date day, bike ride. And so there's that.
There's that.
How do you feel about that?
I think my name should just be blocked every day. Kailee, I'll give you starting at 6 a.m. because that will give you an hour of Jacob time because you wake up at 5. And then I'll give you off after 8 p.m. because then you usually go to bed by 8:30, 9.
6 to 8, okay.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Welcome
Anyways.
back. That's a good intro. I like that. Gets people talking.
Yeah. This is episode 49, which means we are one episode away from 50.
Wow.
Which means we have been recording 50 weeks straight.
That's wild. We're almost done with the show. We're halfway done with
Jacob,
the show.
No.
Kailee hates when I say that. I forgot I'm not supposed to say that anymore. Sorry. We're not actually going to be done with the show, probably. It's just a bit I've been doing. It's not gaining traction.
We are endurance athletes. It's about the journey, not the finish line.
Yeah, that's the hidden message that I've been trying to get across. You, the anti of me.
But actually, that's kind of wild that we're almost at 50, and I'm excited to record our 50th. And we would love, if you hear this, if you could send in questions for us ASAP, because we want to answer some listener questions on it. Because, as you know, every 10 episodes, we do a 10 questions thing. And we've been coming up with the questions and answers, but we would love to hear from you all, our dedicated million followers.
Yeah. Do we have any questions yet?
I don't know. But, yeah, we would love if you could send in questions right now. And even if you're listening to this later, still, please send us questions, because we love getting your feedback and what you like and don't like, and because we would love to continue to infuse that into the pod.
I agree. But before we do that, spring race season is kind of over. And by kind of, I mean spring race
Very.
season's over. It's done.
Very
it's
over.
Dead. It's deceased. It's
We will
gone.
never have spring 2025 races ever again in history.
How does that feel? Yeah, sit with that.
Sit with that.
Yeah, and if you're sad because you feel like you didn't do what you wanted this spring, then this episode is for you.
Because we're going to be talking about intentional July training. Because now that spring is done, we are in the heat of summer. And even if you don't live in Minnesota, my understanding is it's been hot everywhere, not just here. And if you do live in Minnesota, you know that it's been hot and humid every stinking day. And there's been storms for basically every race, it seems like our friends who have done Stillwater races, grandma's had storms. Our friend who did the Bloomington half, storms. And yeah, there's a lot of energy in the air right now, a lot of heat, which we will be talking about heat training in a few weeks here. But
Episode 5-1.
look at us planning.
Yeah, we need to get more guests on too. But
Yeah.
I feel like every July I see one or two things happen. One, you get off your spring race and you're very excited. Either you're excited because you had a good race, or you're excited because you had a bad race. Whatever it is, full steam ahead, planning, hire a coach, hire a strength training coach, whatever it is, right? And you do too much, and you burn out, get hurt, something happens, and then it messes up August, September.
Sad.
The other is that, just the other side of that, right? You come off the spring race, again, you did really good or really bad, and you're just kind of feeling like, I'm just going to relax, and which can be very good if that's what you're trying to do, sure. But if you have a goal come the fall, especially if the goal is like October, here's the reality. Like if you're someone who's doing DCM or Chicago, for example, after grandma's, you don't have a lot of time. You really don't. Like you need to be very intentional about the recovery you take off, right? But then you only have 12, 14, 15 weeks. So, but a lot of times people will end up sliding into this kind of, oh, it's hot, I'm just going to take another day off and be super relaxed about everything and not intentional about anything at all. And then again, come August, you get hurt, burn out, you're not at the level you want to be at, etc. So, we're going to talk about how we are going to make the most of July. That's how it's going to kind of work out. Not necessarily what we recommend, but how we're going to make the most of July. Kailee has Javelina 100 on October 25th.
Less than 16 weeks away.
So that's her A race. And then my A race is the 25th. So my A race is October 23rd. Also in Arizona. Beer Mile versus Al. Rudney. So
It's been crazy.
those are our A races. And
They're coming up quick.
they're going to come up fast. No, actually, I'm tentatively thinking if I can get into Tokyo, March is my A race, actually. So I'm on a little bit different of a schedule, but South Carolina half is, I guess, my other A race. But I'm also on a very different... My year's a lot different right now because I don't have any A races. I just have a bunch of races I'm doing for fun. But we
Training
can,
for life.
we can think about it as South Carolina if you want for me. Or that Beer Mile. So, either way, July is very important. And I guess we can just talk about how we're going to plan on making the most of July, right?
Yeah, because I think July is a hard month. Like, summer is just tough because, if you have kids, they're out of school. So you're spending probably a lot more time with your kids than you do during the school year.
Travel, cabins.
You're traveling. I know childcare can be more difficult. Like, there's just a lot going on. There's barbecues. There's family events. We just got done with the 4th of July and had that long weekend. And
it's very easy to lose discipline.
yeah.
It's harder to say no to things, I would say.
Yeah, and finding that balance of I 100% believe that you should be spending as much time with family as possible and your
Right.
friends and doing all those fun things, because especially for us Northerners, in the winter, as we all know, like everyone goes into hibernation mode. And summer is the time when like everyone comes out of their cocoons and is out like on the lake. And like I do think that's a very important time to enjoy. And a little TCM background, but summer is the emotion that goes with summer is joy. Whereas like winter is like fear. So hence why like there's so much going on and people are generally happier in the summer. The days are longer. Like I said, there's a lot going on. Even like thinking of like the abundance of like the food and everything. Like we were at the farmer's market this weekend. Like everything is growing, everything is thriving, everything is moving quickly. And I want you to take that, but also be able to channel that still into discipline and still getting your runs done. Because, I mean, there's extremes year round. In the winter, it's easy to say, oh, it's negative 20 out, I'm calling it. And that can last for weeks. And now, I mean, we're in the 80s and 90s, which is also lasting for weeks. And I think it's important to be able to modify and still kind of like fit things in where you can and kind of, yeah, just work things in based off of the situation that we're in. Because there's always going to be excuses and things that come up. But it's important to stay disciplined if you have goals and want to hit them, especially this fall.
Yeah, I think looking back at, again, the spring and thinking about what areas did I fall back in or fall off of, right? In fact, for me in July, like running isn't the issue for me. Getting miles in, like I know I'm gonna do that, right? For me, my issue is everything outside of running to make specifically like the quality runs better. I can run easy, steady aerobic miles all day long, which is what July is mainly about anyways. Like we're not doing a lot of like designated speed right now with numbers anyways. But come August and September, my schedule in the spring made it very hard for me to be able to like show up on workout days because I was just so tired all the time. And other habits also made that hard. So like sleep, nutrition, all that stuff. So like right now, I mean, you can attest to this maybe, or maybe not. I'm like really dialing in how I want my nutrition to look in August and September right now. Like I'm really focusing on that because I have the mental capacity to just like really like meal prep, dial it in, eat exactly what I want to eat, things like that. And really trying for like 3 weeks now, I feel like I've been pretty good about like not eating as late at night. It's been a process. Like this week I think is the best it's been. But like not eating as late at night, like not eating that big bowl of ice cream at night. We've been really good about that for I feel like a couple months now. And then getting enough sleep. Right? And for me, that meant rearranging my schedule again. So I'm not working in person on Wednesdays anymore. That's going to be big. And then I don't work past noon Monday, Thursday, or Friday, which is also big. So just like opening up some time for like, this is when I'm going to work out. This is where I'm going to sleep extra during the week, right? Things like that. And then doing that now, right? Getting that established now. So that again, once mileage and stuff starts to pick up more in August and September, I already have those habits laid out. And then I just show up. And that way when I'm fatigued from the mileage building up and the grind that is marathon training, run training, 100 training, half training, whatever it is, I don't have to put that mental energy towards those habits. They're already there. So I already have, like, on Sundays, Kailee and I meal prep. We've gone on like 4 weeks of this, right? Every night, right now, we're getting back to sauna. Every night, we try to sauna. Try to get in bed by 8:30, read, relax, talk, things like that. That's how I plan on kind of making the most of my July. And then I'm in a different period, like I said, so my strength training is a little different. Normally I would do like another section of like 3 lifts a week, but I'm doing 2. And part of that too is because I go to Colorado for a week and Boundary Waters, and it's just going to get messy. But I'm going to get a two days of strength in when I can, and One day will be heavy instead of two days heavy, and yeah,
I like it.
that's my plan.
I like it. Yeah, I think the eating part is very hard in summer too because of going to a lot of like different like gatherings and functions. And I mean, I think we both are very big in balance, about balancing. And it's not saying like that you can't eat certain things or you can't eat like late and different things, but like thinking about it the majority of the time. Like, what are your most like everyday habits that you're doing? And like, even 'cause we had a picnic with friends the other night, and there was pineapple and there was watermelon. Like, there was a lot of like really good foods that we had there that you can avoid like that bloating, like heavy like feeling. And because the organ that goes along with summer in TCM is the small intestine. It's like thinking of like digestion. And a lot of people can get like stickier stools right now, or diarrhea, or constipation because of all the heat. Bloating is very common. And I'm just trying to like focus on eating with the seasons is always really important. And so like a lot of fruits right now, a lot of watermelon. I'm using fresh herbs with all of my meals. Like I said, we're going to the farmer's market, so that's kind of one of my ways of being intentional and just like appreciating the summer too, because we have an abundance of produce and good foods. But yeah, allow yourself to enjoy, but also like just take stock of like what does feel good for you. And yes, if you're staying out late one night, that's fine. But then like, again, like what are your habits throughout the week? And during the summer, I do feel like it's okay to get by with a little more of like going to bed a little later and waking up a little earlier, just because, I mean, that's what it's like outside. Our apartment stays pretty light, so I feel like we already are waking up kind of with the sunlight in the morning, versus in the winter, like you're supposed to like sleep longer because it's getting dark at 4 p.m. and it doesn't get light until 8 a.m. That being said though, like I've been focusing more, like I've taken a couple naps in the last week, and I've just like passed out because I've been so tired. And I think a lot of that is like the heat and humidity has taken it out of me, and racing, and just like, again, just like the fastness of summer. And like, if you're somebody who wants to take an afternoon nap, like I don't see anything wrong with that. It's also like a TCM practice to like take a little snooze, a little siesta in the afternoon. So if that's possible, if you can sleep for 20 to 30 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes and lay down. Acupuncture is also something that I've been continuing to incorporate all summer. I just got done with the treatment earlier and passed out for a half hour. And again, it's like a way for me to be centering my nervous system and just, again, like chilling during this time of year, and helping with the recovery side of things, because that's also always important. Like we always want to be recovering. And again, with like the heat right now, I'm hydrating extra, I'm having more electrolytes, I'm making sure to eat more, paying attention to sleep, and kind of all the things that we think about throughout the year, but just with a different spin on it now that it is summer and there's different things that are coming. And I also want to point out that community is really important in the summer too, and like gathering with people, and that's that joy component. And right now is a great time, again, because we're not doing as much like speed and everything, to be doing group workouts, going to group classes, going to group bike rides, going to group runs, going for hikes. Like there's so many ways that we can be moving our body in community with others. And if you have the ability to be a little less, quote, strict with your training schedule right now, this is a great time to be trying other things. And like Jacob and I, like you said, we're doing a long bike ride this weekend in prep for hoping to do 100-mile bike ride next month for the first time. And being okay with, it's not like a long run, but this is still like part of my training, and it's okay to be doing this.
When you think about Javelina in 4 months, what do you Like, what specifically in July is going through your head right now to like, I'm going to make July super successful? It's probably like the hardest. No, it's one of the hardest months of training because of how hot it is and just like how, it's 3 months away. Just the mindset around it, I feel like it can be hard to get a rhythm going in July, I think. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what are you going to do in July to make yourself successful in October?
Well, I'm stoked actually and still very much on a training high. I'm very excited for this because this is my first fall ultra that I've ever done. All of my ultras have been spring races, spring or summer. So I've never like trained hard through the summer for like a long distance. I've trained for TC10 the last few years, but a road 10 miler is very different than a trail ultra. And so I think I'm still like in the newness of this and also the newness of heat training. Like I'm really enjoying like looking at research articles and listening to podcasts about heat. And so I guess I'm not in the like, because for me, like if I'm getting burned out, then that's like a sign for me to pull back. And right now, like I'm very much in the like all eyes forward and we're doing this. But that being said, like again, like enjoying like putting other things into my schedule. Like right now, every day is kind of different with my schedule because I do, stairs a couple times a week. And I've been doing that with friends, which has been so much better than just being on the stair stepper at PRG by myself just for a half hour, just sitting on the stairs. So that's my way of like making that more enjoyable. For my strength, I go to Jacob's group classes. So I'm again like being in community with that, and I'm with other people who are also doing javelina and who are chasing goals. Long runs on the weekends are at different trails in different parks. And so for me, like I'm somebody who likes having a lot of different options and like change all the time. Even with my foods, like I'm not someone who loves to eat the same thing every day. Like I like to mix it up. And for people who get bored with their same running path or get bored with their workouts, like change it up. Talk to your coach, go to a different park, go to a different road, go to a different class. Like it's okay to do all of that. And again, I think this is the time to be doing that so that you can develop like good patterns and habits for the fall when things do get maybe a little stricter. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, but I'm really enjoying it because again, this is like still very new to me to be doing this in the summer. So I'm stoked. And again, like having gone through your training plan for a couple different races, I feel like I'm just getting more confident in my running every time. And also side note of how this still feels like very new to me is now I'm going for more like time goals at javelina versus in the past for my ultras it's been strictly completion, which is still obviously a huge part of my goal for javelina. But I'd also like I know now that I can do 100 miles, whereas before it was, can I do 100? Can I do 50? Can I do 200? It's like, okay, I know I could go and do that probably tomorrow. But now, how can I like feel the strongest that I possibly can for this race?
How can you feel the strongest you possibly can for this race?
With my coach, Jacob. I mean, strong in the physical sense, obviously, and that's the stairs, that's the strength workouts. Like, we ran Afton 25K this weekend, and the hills felt like butter. Like, they were so fun. And even for the 200, like, going up hills, like, I felt pretty good with those, and I think a lot of that comes from doing the stair stepper and the strength work that we do. And then just building myself up mentally. And right now we're just like jumping into like fun races and, did pretty well at Afton this weekend for having it just be like a training run. And tonight we're doing the Lebanon 7 miler, one of the Rocksteady endless summer races. And so for me right now, again, this is new, but like my confidence and strength is coming in, like, having the confidence to push myself more in these races and to take chances, which is the mindset piece of it.
I like
Continuing to do podcasts, talking to people, like, all of that is part of it. Yeah.
So, hopefully our listeners feel a little bit better about their July training. I think, again, the biggest thing is pick one or two things that you feel like didn't go amazing in the last build and focus on those now. Start focusing on them now.
And have fun. Again, like, this is about joy, and it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, too. Yeah. If you're not having fun, that's a whole different conversation. A lot of times I just talk and assume everyone's having fun. But yes, if you're not having fun, like, that's a different problem entirely. We should do a whole podcast on that too, like what you're doing if you're not having fun.
And, like, fun comes in so many different forms. Like, I'm not saying that as you're, dying, sweating, doing like a hard speed workout or something that you're like, wow, this is so fun. But, like, I think it's fun to train hard, and, like, the feeling after, and even, like, in the sauna, and, like, I come out dripping sweat after, I'm like, that was fun, because I know that it's all, like, working towards this goal, and I know that I'm doing it with you, and I know that I'm doing it with other people, and, like, just and constantly that reminder of, like, I get to do this. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's the fun part, is getting stronger mentally and physically.
So even, like, defining what is it that you want out of this build? Like, what are you defining these things? Like, what's fun to you right now, right? What does that look like? I think having that all either thought out in your head or written down or whatever is important too. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the mental work too that you should be doing and thinking about this month.
Yeah, because waking up at 5 a.m. for me is not fun. But again, it's the, like, being able to, like, look ahead. And once you get out there, like, that's where I have the fun,
Exactly.
What's your we get to do this moment of the week?
Probably that I get to go to Colorado next week, and I'm really excited about it. That's my we get to do this moment this week, next week, and the week after. Heading out there.
Check.
I'm going to run a bunch. I'm going to pace Aaron Boyke in his 100-miler. I'm hyped. I leave in, like, 5 days. But I'm going to miss Bay a lot.
Yeah, that's not my we get to do this moment, because you're going to be gone.
Yeah, it's going to be, like, the longest we've ever been apart. Sad. No, that's not you. Colorado the first time.
Yeah, it was terrible. We spent so much time FaceTiming when you were gone.
We're going to do it again.
Thankfully, we have unlimited data and FaceTime. Yeah, but I'm excited for you. My we get to do this moment is I just got my first Slightly sponsorship.
Woo!
We're
famous.
We're famous.
Kaylee's famous.
If one of us is famous, we're both famous. There is a local Minnesota athletic brand called Cuvetta, Kuvetta, and they're going to be, it's literally called a Slightly sponsorship, but they're slightly sponsoring me for Javelina, actually. So they're going to be sending me a few apparel items, which are all athletic focused, and I'll show those once I get them. But yeah, I'm excited to be on their socials, and we should have her on the pod, actually.
Yeah, we should. Let's set that up.
Yeah. But yeah, and she actually has a pop-up shop in Boulder right now that Jacob might go stop by while he's there. No? Okay. But yeah, very excited.
Maybe, I don't know. Sure. She's there next week?
Yeah, through September, I think.
Oh, so is she living out there?
I don't know. The pop-up shop is out there. But yeah, I'm excited. And who doesn't like free clothes? So they look sweet and, like, made and built for women athletes. That's what I've got.
I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Episode 49. We get to do this train intentionally this July. Rest of the month. It's going to go quick.
Send us your questions for episode 50 and beyond. Bye.
Wow, Kailee, we made it through another episode. What do you think?
We would love if you would go give us a follow, a 5-star review, and comment on the episode and what you liked and what you'd like to see more of.
See you next time.
We get to do this.